Good evening. I will now call to order the February 10th, 2025 Board of Education regular meeting. Thank you all for attending the regular meeting of the board. I would like to remind everyone that school board meetings in Nebraska are meetings held in public, not public meetings. During the public comment section, the public may address the board on agenda items and other miscellaneous topics. And we will start with our purpose and direction. The purpose of the North Platte Public School District is to prepare all students to be productive, responsible citizens in a safe, caring, supportive learning environment. Our direction is to prepare every student for success through high-quality educational programs delivered by highly effective educators who use innovative, research-based strategies in a safe, supportive environment in collaboration with family, businesses, and community members. I need to remember to take a breath. All right, Sheila, can we do roll call?
Yeah, really good. Emily Garrett.
Present.
Joanne Leonard.
Present.
Cindy O'Connor.
Present.
Skip Ball.
Present.
Angela Blaze. Justin Thompson.
Present.
And Mrs. Blasey is ill this evening, so I would entertain a motion to excuse her absence.
I move to excuse Angela Blasey from this evening's meeting.
Roll call.
Joanne Leonard. Aye. Cindy O'Connor.
Aye.
Skip Ball.
Aye.
Justin Thompson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett.
Aye. Motion passes. All right. The publication of the February 3rd, that should read February 10th, correct? I need to amend that. Okay. This should read the publication of the February 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education. I would entertain a motion to approve that publication with the date adjusted to February 10th.
I move to approve the publication of the February 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
Roll call.
Cindy O'Connor.
Aye.
Skip Ball.
Aye.
Justin Thompson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett.
Aye.
Joanne Leonard. Aye.
All right, and on the agenda, same thing. I would entertain a motion with the date adjusted to represent February 10th, tonight's meeting for the regular meeting of the Board of Education.
Motion to approve the agenda for the February 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
Second.
Roll call.
Skip Ball.
Aye.
Justin Thompson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett.
Aye.
Joanne Leonard. Aye. Cindy O'Connor.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Communications. First, we have a special presentation for our January Bulldogs of the Month. So Mr. Spatansky, come on up.
So this evening, we have two outstanding high school seniors that are our January Bulldogs of the Month. We have Miss Kendall Valentine and Mr. Eli Broman. So I'll introduce them both to come up and share a little bit about themselves. Mr. Broman will start.
I'm Eli Broman. I'm here with my mom, Monica Broman, and my dad, Chandler Broman. Some things I've done in high school are I played football all 4 years. I played basketball all 4 years. And then soccer I've played the past 3 years and plan to play this next season. I'm in NHS. I have attended a couple summit leaderships in Kearney, and one of my favorite memories in high school, I'd probably say beating Westside in football, knocking them off, #1 ranked Westside. And then my plans after high school are attend UNK and study finance.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kendall Valentine. I've been at North Platte for the past 3 years. I moved here in between my freshman and sophomore year. I played girls basketball for my sophomore and junior year, and then this year I'm actually on the Pacers dance team and I absolutely love it. Met some amazing girls through there, and I plan to play tennis in the spring. My favorite memory has definitely been being a part of the Pacers dance team. We recently went to Heartland competition in Lincoln, and that was amazing. Um, After college, I plan to go to Chadron State, and I actually got accepted into the RHOP program. I'll be studying pre-med.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Awesome. Thank you.
What? I know, I looked at it. Plus the other one. Thank you.
Oh,
Nothing for you.
oh, that's fine.
I'm giving you a bet. Skip. Plus the other one was one shot. You won all of my. I scored all the way around.
All right, and now for our student spotlight, I believe we have Mrs. Simmons here to introduce her group of students from Washington.
Actually let them, pardon my voice. I'll let them introduce themselves, but I'll do a quick, just introduction of who they are. We have a fifth grade ambassadors council or ambassadors group at our school, and they're all fifth graders and they had to apply at the beginning of the school year. And this is our third year doing it, and we had such a great turnout this year that I decided to create an ambassador council. So these four young ladies represent that council, and I actually just shared with them this morning the reason they represent and were chosen to be on the council was because of their outstanding responses to what leadership and representing their school and community look like and what strong character looks like. And so I don't want to take up any more of their time. I'll let them introduce themselves and share a little bit about who they are.
Hi, my name is Reese Grigg, and we are here to represent the fifth grade Washington Ambassadors Program. And we are actually the four council members, and thank you for letting us be here.
Hi, I'm Hallie Bandy, and like Reese said, we are here to represent the ambassadors team, but we're also here to represent our school. Thank you for having us.
Hi, my name is Harper Folker. I am also one of the council members, and we are so happy to be here. My name is Riley Williams. We love representing our school. Thank you for having us.
We're happy to have you. Is there anything you can share with us about things that you're doing at Washington, or do you have projects that you're working on? I would love to hear.
We are learning how to be leaders. We are also learning how to be resilient and etiquette.
We're learning also to help, how to help out in our community.
We are trying to learn more etiquette every day because we're gonna have the mayor come visit us.
That's really awesome. Very cool. Anybody else have any questions for them? Was there anything else you guys wanted to share with us? You seem like very prepared individuals.
I guess I have a question. I have a question real quick. So do you think that you might run for student council when you get into like middle school or high school? Or do you see this putting you on a track for public service, I guess, in your future at all?
Yes.
Most definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
It was really fun when you did the roll call and we looked at the agenda because they looked at me like, we do this. Roll call here present. So it's just fun to see. We've talked about what leadership looks like at each level as they grow up, and it'll be fun to see what they do as they grow and expect big things from them. Thanks again for giving them this opportunity.
Thank you very much for.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, I will now invite up Ms. Terry Burchell for the foundation report and staff recognitions.
That's a hard act to follow. Well, good evening. I'm here to give an update about the foundation. Of course, the last 4 weeks since I've seen you, we've done reach grants totaling over about $3,400, including trout in the classroom, learning by census, and keeping calm over at Cody. And then we also, with Mrs. Kammerer, did the LEAD Center has an opportunity to take 3 program. Only 6 cities get selected for that. And North Platte was one of those cities. She was able to apply for a grant through Mid-Nebraska plus a reach grant. So we're able to bring 6 individuals in to work with the 5th graders and then hopefully, excuse me, at the senior high as well. So save a date of April 14th because they'll be performing at the North Platte High School for the community as a free will donation. So hopefully everybody can make that. This is the last month for reach grants. I can't believe it already. So by the end of this, we will have awarded over $15,000 at 19 different classrooms in 10 of the schools, ultimately benefiting all of the schools within the district through different programs. So we're very excited about that and continuing to do that. Scholarship deadline is March 1st. If you know of a senior, please encourage them to apply for the many scholarships that either the North Platte Public Schools Foundation has or Mid-Nebraska Community Foundation has. There's lots of donors that would like to see high schoolers go on and further their education, whether that be in the trades or 4-year institution or 2-year. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. The last time I checked, we maybe had 30 applications in, but I also know that procrastination is a thing. So there is 18 days left. So if you see any of those seniors, please encourage them to fill out those applications. And we're 3 weeks away from Dancing with the Stars, which is February 28th. You can cheer those teams on by coming to the event. There are still tickets available. Or if you're unable to make the event, you can support the People's Choice Award, which each dollar is a vote for People's Choice. They are raising money for a grand piano to either be refurbished or a new one for the high school that also the community benefits from as well. And then, of course, the foundation's always excited to showcase the district employees. This month, we were with Prairie Friends and Flowers and Grandals, and we have 2 schools that we went to, Madison and Lake. So because of my voice, I'm going to ask for Miss Robin Volley to come up first. And then I will ask Miss Hyde.
Well, thank you for having us here tonight. I'm very excited to honor these ladies at Madison Middle School. So Mrs. Harvey is our math teacher, and she is recognized for her dedication and commitment to providing an outstanding educational experience for our students and staff at Madison. And as a true champion of student-centered learning, Mrs. Harvey consistently prioritizes the needs and interests of our students, striving to make their time at Madison as memorable and a transformative experience. Mrs. Harvey works closely with her math department colleagues to deliver a cohesive and effective curriculum that meets the diverse needs of all of our learners. And what I think sets Miss Harvey apart, however, is her unwavering passion for teaching and her generosity of spirit. She is an outstanding role model, mentor, and coach, always willing to share her expertise, offer constructive feedback, and support the growth and development of our new educators. Her commitment to creating a culture of celebrating the joy of learning is always visible when you see her in her classroom. And she embodies the values of excellence, compassion, and student-centeredness that we strive to uphold. And I'm honored to recognize her exceptional service and commitment. Thank you, Mrs. Harvey. And we have Cindy Miller here, who is a dedicated para-educator. Throughout the school years, she's been a rock for the Madison community and consistently demonstrating her reliability and willingness to go above and beyond to support her colleagues and students. Cindy's dependability has been a hallmark of her service, and she has always been ready to take on additional duties and responsibilities whenever needed, particularly during times when other paraeducators have been absent. Her flexibility and adaptability have been a huge asset to our team. Cindy's commitment in supporting students and following our school and district expectations has been a true benefit, and her dedication to helping them succeed, learn, and grow is inspiring to witness. Cindy's work ethic combined with her kindness, compassion, and dedication to our students make her an excellent paraeducator and an invaluable member of our team. And I'm honored to also honor her here at the board meeting. So thank you.
Hello, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to acknowledge these two amazing people that make my day great every day that I come to school. First, we have Tara Foster, she teaches fourth grade for us. Your passion for teaching is truly remarkable. You tailor your teaching methods to meet the needs of all students, and that results in success and growth for all. You've been a mentor and source of inspiration to many people in our school. And I want to end with a story because I love a story. So it was my first year out at Lake. I didn't really know Miss Foster really well. And the kids were coming in for open house, and I had one come in and she was just like, oh my gosh, amazing. And I'm like, oh, it's so good to meet you. Why are you so excited? And she said, I've been waiting my whole life to be in Miss Foster's class. She's the best. And that says it all. Thank you so much. And Teresa Neeson is one of our paraprofessionals, and she was my nurse today and my secretary today and everything to me today already. Teresa is kind but firm, loving, and patient. All these words describe her. She always has time to engage with students and give them positive feedback. She's dedicated to the staff and the students of Lake. She has a get things done attitude, and she has a strong presence in and out of the classroom. Students respect her and adore her, and all the other staff does too. Thank you so much. Here, I'm going to start with the board.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations, thanks.
Heather was a student of mine. She did speech. Yeah,
We'll give them this.
and Mrs. Miller was at the high school when we were there she was at the high school when I was there the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
All right, our next agenda item for this evening is our public comment section. If you notice that this has changed places just a little bit, we did choose to move public comment up ahead of our consent agenda. We just wanted to show our community that we really value when they do come and speak. And so we wanted to make sure that we placed that prior to us taking any action as a board. So that public comment time, public questions and comments may take place at this time in the agenda. Individuals who want to address the board must complete a guidelines for public comments form with the date, topic addressing, name, address, and the name of any organization you represent and give it to the board clerk prior to the meeting. Sheila, do we have any? Okay. Now on to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda is also known by Robert's Rules of Order as a consent calendar. This groups routine meeting discussion points into a single agenda item. In doing so, the grouped items can be approved into one action rather than through the filing of multiple motions. Documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members and the public in advance to assure an extensive and thorough review. Items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member. Tonight, our consent agenda includes item 9.1, approving the minutes of the January 13th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Item 9.2, approving the minutes of the January 30th, 2025 Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting. 9.3, the resignation of Matthew Stetson on or about May 15th, 2025. 9.4, approving the resignation of Marissa Moore effective on January 27th, 2025. Item 9.5, accept the resignation of Haley Keck effective on or about May 15th, 2025. 9.6, accept the resignation of Kay Fabricus effective February 4th, 2025. 9.7, accept the resignation of Brian Zudevern effective on or about May 15th, 2025. 9.8, accept the resignation of Scott Siegel effective on or about May 15th, 2025. 9.9, approve the teaching contract of Tony Guthrie effective for the 2025-2026 school year. 9.10, approve the teaching contract of Samantha Clark effective for the 2025-2026 school year. 9.11, approve the teaching contract of Mark Nicholson effective for the 2025-2026 school year. 9.12, approve the teaching contract of Lori Morrissey effective for the 2025-2026 school year. 9.13, approve the teaching contract of Brett Jonason effective for the 2025-2026 school year. And 9.14, approval of financial claims and reports. And this month's audit was done by Joanne Lundgren and Angela Blasey. So I would entertain a motion on the table first to approve the consent agenda as presented. Once that motion has been made and seconded, then we'll open it up if there are any questions.
I'd move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, were there any questions or anything on there with financial claims that you guys needed to mention? Okay. Sheila, roll call.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. On to our reports and discussion items for the evening. So the first one, monthly financial and budget report. We will turn this over to Mr. Simpson.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take you through about 6 items just really quickly to highlight some financial information for the period ending January 31st. First of all, I want to say thank you very much to Brandon. I always provide a couple of pictures from when they're out and about in the district. Second of all, if we can go to page 3, I just want to let you know, you can see the official enrollment on the left side. For some reason, the dates did not come in. And then the current enrollment for the end of January 31st. Next on page 4, really quickly, it's a snapshot of where our budget is for the various funds that we oversee. We should be at 41.7, but depending upon the fund, for example, in our QC Puff fund, we have to pay the bonds in December, so that's why you're seeing a higher number on percentage compared to other funds, just because we made a bond payment in December. Next one is on page 7. It's just our asset allocation. And you can see as you go over the last 5 years, number one, we've increased a little bit on payroll, but that's relative to not only salaries, but benefits and what we're having to pay for healthcare. But on the other side with bills, you can see we're starting to reduce our claims accordingly. Page 8 just shows our current cash flow in the district. I do want to say we have received funds for, or at least have our grant approved for the IDEA grant that just came in today, but we're still waiting for the state to approve our ESSA, which includes Title I and Title II Part A. And so until they get that taken care of and we can submit those claims, then we can get the remaining, start getting our federal grants coming in more on a regular basis. On page 10 is a discipline report. I take our expenditures for the general fund and lay it in according to instruction, SPED, fiscal services, building or grounds, transportation. You can see that. But really what I want to point out is that within instruction and special education, it is, and I can't see the SPED very well, but we're about 71% of instruction within direct instruction to students in the classrooms. Right. And then finally, on page 20, I just want to highlight one of our funds that we oversee, which is the building fund. Reminder, we were paying off the remaining share of ESSers. I wanted to say ESSA, but ESSER's dollars this year and Eisenhower completion. So you can see that broken out compared to, we received that $100,000 grant for school safety and security where we changed the entrance at Jefferson. And a lot of the expenditures were coming in after the end of the fiscal year last year. That's why you're seeing the 85,000 there. And then our normal building fund items that are going through there. And we knew when we passed the Eisenhower construction, some of those costs were going to be coming out of the regular building fund budget because we wanted to ensure, number one, building windows were taken care of, and lighting and electricity. So it sort of became a balancing act between ESSER money and the district funding it through building funds. So any questions on the financial report? Along with that, you do have the monthly financial report under claims that a little bit more detail there. I just try to bring in some highlights on the board financial discussion.
I have a couple of questions. There on page 20, where we left off, under our different building improvements, there's NPHS, McDonald, Eisenhower District. Would you, just so that we know, kind of looking at that, like what types of things fall under that district? The building ones are obvious. We can kind of tie those to a project and know what those are.
So are you referring to the 39,000 like at Eisenhower or?
Yes, so a few lines below there. Yep, in the same section there.
So are you just referring to district?
Yeah.
So we pay for our Cohagen storage somewhat out of the building fund. So that's a portion of those dollars that are being paid out at the district level. And then we may have some items here at McKinley or the maintenance that we would pay out of there, but I'd have to look at the detail and find out exactly. But I do know it was from our Cohagen storage that we hold on to.
And I had one other question. I'm sure there's a reason for this, so I would just love for you to share that with us. So when we look back at page 8 on the monthly cash flow, there's been a few years in the past where there's kind of a spike there in that month. We obviously don't see this year or in some others. So I was just wondered if you could share with us, and I think we've talked a little bit about this before, but why some years we see that and some years we don't.
So probably the biggest thing that shows that decrease compared to the previous years is that when you look at the graph report or the expenditures behind that graph, on the display that I have, you can see, first of all, that we have 600,000 less in property taxes coming through this year. The other item is we have some additional state aid dollars that are not coming through right now, which is roughly another 600,000. So that's why you're seeing that drop. And we're continually monitoring property taxes, state aid dollars, as well as we talk about grants. Even though grants are flat, because we've been getting a lot of prior year information in, prior year dollars coming in, but not current year dollars, which concerns me. And that's what I want to do, is that bring those dollars up. But still, you can see those are the two biggest areas that cause us the biggest issue.
Okay, perfect. I knew you had shared that with us when we were talking through
Right.
the agenda, but I wanted to make sure if someone was looking at that they kind of understood why that was.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions for Mr. Simpson? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to our legislative update, and Skip, you're up for this.
Well, a lot of bills, as far as in the education committee and so forth, have gone through the committee already. With very few changes in them, which was a surprise. They thought some of them, especially the cell phone bill, they thought was going to be amended, which it was not. But the real key will be when they come to the floor, those bills, who amends and how people feel about them and so forth. It was LB 303 went through this afternoon, I believe, didn't it?
They haven't voted on it yet.
Okay.
It was heard in committee.
That is the new modeling on spending and funds that we're going to get, that was put together with a commission done by the governor. The governor's people were there. There were superintendents there. Dr. John Schwartz from Millard was one. Dr. Aaron Ploss from Bennington was one. We actually had a special meeting Friday, Zoom meeting, where those two presented what this would do. And it's kind of a balance to try to make it more equalized. I'll use that word for smaller schools and bigger schools. And they did the modeling. The modeling is out for every school, and that came out Thursday. They're trying to work together. And the other part of this bill that I really like, they are setting up a commission that will meet yearly, so that we just don't have something that falls on us as far as problems. And it will be made up of legislators, superintendents. They're also probably going to amend it to add a couple school board members as well. That will meet and discuss things. So the commission will try to see how things are working and what might be a problem that's coming up. So that's one of the parts of the bill that I really, really like. Of course, it has to go, excuse me, it has to go through the process, through the legislature, and we'll see what happens there. And then all the other bills, the same thing. Once they get to the floor and they start being debated and amended, then and passed or not, then we'll know a lot more. But as said, there's 100 bills that really affect us between revenue, government, and education. But they're going through the bills out of committee faster than I can remember, maybe in the last 6 or 7 years. They're doing them most of them rather quickly.
Thank you, Skip. Does anybody have any questions for Skip or bills they were curious about? All right. Policy review discussion. So this is kind of an information item here for the board. There is a policy review calendar attached here. So we will be beginning a policy review cycle starting at our next committee of the whole meeting. We will be looking at discussing the 1000 series of our policies, and then we will take action on those at our regular March board meeting. Dr. Rhodes, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, policy 1002 is your board policy. And within policy, every 3 years, we go through a review per what we have in policy. The last time we did policy review was 2003, about this time actually, in 2003. So we might want to look at that policy and actually amend it to actually put in every odd year. We go through all the series and go through policy review. I think with the committee of the whole, that makes a lot of sense. I think we have the time to do that. So the way the calendar is divided up is something we did in subcommittee 2 years ago, where we tried to look at anywhere from 15 to 18 policies per month. We won't bring all those obviously for editing and revising purposes, but I would just really recommend to you, look those policies over before we get to the committee of the whole, so we can really have a good discussion. And if there's any policy that needs a revision or that the board wants to discuss to be revised, then we'll put it the following regular board meeting on the following month. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of things that happen with the legislature that we're just normally going to have to do recommended and required changes to, and we'll do those probably in August. Usually the attorneys get us those policies out in August. The other thing you will notice about this review cycle is that in July, all we have is the approval of our handbooks. So employee handbooks, student handbooks, teacher evaluation handbooks, and those things. So again, 1000s will be at the end of this month. So there aren't very many in that 1000 series. I think there's 6 or 7 is all. So please take a look at those, and anything we need to discuss for revision, we'll do on February 27th. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, and to kind of add on to, we've had some conversations about timing and when is best to do policy review. And in those discussions, we felt that every odd year made the most sense. It kept us in a very routine, every other year schedule of policy review. But more importantly, I think it keeps us as a board engaged in our policies. Those would be the years that we would potentially have new members coming onto our board. And so it's an opportunity for them to really dig in and kind of learn what's there. It's an opportunity for us to just make sure that everything that's in there is really current and applicable to what our goals are as a district. And so, yeah, we would just ask that prior to committee of the whole, if you have things that you notice or that you want to bring, a potential rewording or an amendment of something, those would be things that you could send over ahead of time that could be attachments for other board members to see. And so it is a little bit of work up front reading them. I think it will be less work than the last time we did this. So the good news is we do it for a year and then we don't do it for a year. So we get a year off. Does anybody have any questions about the calendar or what to expect with that?
Well, since we don't meet in November and December, what are we gonna do with
Oh,
those?
that's good. I'll edit that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, we could discuss those potentially at our regular meeting, depending on what our agendas look like.
I think that's actually what we had
Yeah,
discussed
I
as well,
think so.
moving those to the
right.
regular meeting.
Yeah. So there would be a little bit less. Well, yeah, we discussed, for instance, in November, and then we could take action in December on that group. Yes. Great observation, Skip. Thank you. All right, on to our action items. So just a quick reminder that we're going to kind of switch up the order that we do things in these. So I will introduce the action item, and then I would actually like to entertain a motion first. So we have a motion on the table, and then we will open that up for discussion prior to calling it to question and voting. So our first action item tonight is to recognize the North Platte Para Educator Association as the exclusive bargaining agent of the district's non-supervisory classified staff for the 2025-2026 and 2026-2027 school years. Can I get a motion on the table?
Motion to recognize the Para Education Association as the exclusive bargaining agent of the district's non-supervisory classified staff for 2005 to 2025, 26, and 26-27 school year.
Second.
Okay. I am going to turn this over to Mr. Simpson to share with us. And if you are wondering if we have seen this before, yes, we have, but there's a bit of a change to this.
Yes, so they have brought the letter to you to be recognized before, but they noticed that they had some wrong dates in there, and that was brought from their legal counsel at NSEA. So I had requested from them, and when working with Lori Anderson, said put in the 25-26, because at the end of 25-26, you'll be negotiating with the para union at that point in time. So that's just to cover that.
Because we did a two-year contract. Yes.
Agreement, correct. And then it'll flow into the 26-27 school year. So just trying to cover both bases on that piece.
Okay, I wondered why that was in there. So thank you. Since we already had a contract for next year with them.
Right, but I didn't know when that was going to
Yeah.
go into place. but I
Gotcha.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah, okay, good point.
Any other questions? Okay, Sheila, we'll move that to, or I will bring that to question.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. The next item is to request approval of the Nebraska Association of School Boards membership. And so I will entertain a motion on the table for that.
I request the approval of the Nebraska Association of School Boards membership.
I second.
Okay. And the rationale behind this, we do have a little bit of information from NASB, their board of directors, just on what is included in that membership and some of the benefits that we receive as a board. So I am going to read that so that everybody knows what that is. On behalf of the NASB Board of Directors and staff, we want to express our heartfelt gratitude for your continued membership and unwavering support. Your dedication to fostering excellence in education is vital to the success of students, educators, and communities across Nebraska. As a valued member of NASB, you are part of a collaborative network of dedicated leaders working to fortify public education in Nebraska. Your active engagement empowers us to provide vital resources, impactful training, and effective advocacy to support school boards and enhance governance across the state. Whether through workshops, legislative updates, or shared initiatives, your participation amplifies our collective impact. Then they go on to say, you know, of course, if we ever need anything or assistance from them, to reach out. And then the membership grants us as a board access to AliCap insurance program, which we do not use that. Board development events, custom workshops and retreats, education leadership, search service, legal resources, legislative tools and education, in-jump and C-jump natural gas purchasing, policy service, Spark Data Solutions, which is what we use to run our meetings and host our agendas and minutes, strategic planning, and then workshops and conferences for professional development. And there is a letter attached there as well. And sorry, I can't read that. Hold on one second. Yes, it was very small. So the reason that we are bringing this to this board meeting is because we do, if we pay that membership early prior to April 1st, we do receive a discount on our annual dues. And those annual dues, what page is the amount on here? If paid by April 1st would be $7,790. So I would love to have any discussions or answer any questions anyone may have about that.
I think this membership is very valuable. There's so many things that we get from them through the course of the year. Example, Marcia Herring, as far as being able to call her and talk to her at any time when we have questions about any things that are legal or so forth. John Spott's the same way. That's how I get on the legislative committee and we learn about bills and so forth, is because it's run through the NASB. We've done our last 2 superintendent searches using NASB. So I just, what you get in value, and it adds up through the course of the year, how much we utilize them, that I think is just, you know, for the money, it's actually very cheap for the things that we receive from them.
Anyone else have anything? Joanne, I know you've had the opportunity to attend a lot of their events. Would you want to share with us maybe some of the benefits you've seen with our membership?
I agree with everything Skip said on that.
Yeah, and I think it's invaluable. I know that we still pay to go to workshops and events, but the price is less if we are a member versus if we're not. And so, yeah, the training and support that we get from them is invaluable.
I would echo those same sentiments. I think it's while the dollar sign it seems like a lot when you first glance at it, when you realize everything that is included in that and what we would be lacking as a board without that. It's really a fairly small investment into the impact that it has on the decisions that we make as a board. So I do think it's important that we continue prioritizing being an educated and effective board. And so I agree. I think it's a very beneficial membership for us. All right, Sheila, can I get a roll call?
Emily Garrett.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Our last action item for the evening, we have attached the draft 2025-2030 strategic plan. It was presented at the January Committee of the Whole meeting. So this is to request adoption of the 2025 through 2030 strategic plan as presented. I would entertain a motion on the table for that.
Motion to accept the draft of the 2025-2030 strategic plan as presented.
Second.
All right, let's discuss. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Rhodes first I know we've talked about this several times, but for him to kind of fill us in on a few of the things on implementing this plan and some of the highlights of it.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we've been talking about this for a while. So this process goes back to June 3rd. And a lot of hard work, a lot of people working on this, and you know, the creation of a mission statement, belief statements, parameters, you know, clear-cut objectives that are measurable, and then of course the strategies. So you've heard me say this before. I think what I really appreciated about this process, and again, that was Dr. Kim Som Mills and Dr. Todd Triple from the Millard Public Schools came out as our consultants and worked with us, is really the uniqueness of this document. And from the mission statement to the specific action steps for our specific results, it is very specific to North Platte Public Schools. And you couldn't take this document and put it at another public school in the state or across the nation and say that that could be their strategic plan. So, you know, just as a reminder, the mission statement specifically is so unique to North Platte, our community and our schools. North Platte Public Schools is a destination school district and community that embraces innovative opportunities and distinguished programs to create highly competitive advantages for all students, instilling the canteen spirit in an evolving world. The canteen spirit embodies generosity, selflessness, and unwavering support through service, pride, collaboration, and grit. Pretty unique. That is North Platte. That's our community, and that's what we want our school system to be all about. That is our mission. You know, our belief statements are very specific on what's important to us as a school district. I'm not going to read through those necessarily. And then remember that parameters are the way we behave as a school district. So they are either things that we will always do or things that we will not do. And when the strategic planning team got together, they really wanted those to be things we will always do instead of the things we will never do. And so we will always keep students as the focus of every decision we make. I will tell you during the drafting of this, there was a lot of talk about where these were falling and the prioritizing of those. So students' number one focus. We will always collaborate with the common goal of student learning. We will always use data to drive decisions regarding instruction and learning. We will always prioritize a safe and secure environment. We will always treat others with dignity and respect by listening to understand, assuming positive intent, and focusing on solutions. We will always communicate effectively with our internal and external stakeholders. We will always seek opportunities and resources to support, develop, and retain our staff. And we will always be good stewards of our resources. The other piece of this strategic plan are those objectives or those outcomes that are measurable. And you'll notice that these 5 are annual measurements. So student achievement and growth on district, state, and national assessments will increase annually. PK-12 student enrollment will increase annually. The percentage of students participating and performing in college and career readiness programs will increase annually. Staff retention rate will increase and unfilled positions will decrease annually. And stakeholder engagement will increase annually. So those are all measurable. We'll collect data to see where we're at in terms of those objectives. And then, of course, the 3 strategies. We will increase academic success of students and efficacy in staff. We will maximize current staff skills and expertise while being resourceful and innovative in recruiting new staff. And lastly, we will embrace and capitalize on the growth and change within our district and community. And as you know from the presentation in January, then each one of those strategies has 2 specific results. Each one of those specific results has action steps. So really, at this point, if the board chooses to adopt the strategic plan, then the next steps will be to start to formulate what implementation looks like. And I would just remind you, it's a 5-year plan. And so we want to be strategic, we want to be intentional, and we want to be focused as we go through this. So we're not going to attack all this strategic plan in year 1, or we won't attack each strategy in year 1. We'll look at those specific results. And as a district, we'll decide what is going to be approached first. And then, of course, we will report that to the board, and then we'll report those action steps as we go through on how, almost like a checklist on how we're accomplishing these various strategies. So the implementation for this would be mid-August as we get into the 2025-2026 school year.
I thought the presentation was great by all the directors and that were involved in this, plus Emily, Joanne were part of it, but we also had community people that were involved in this. I think it was very comprehensive as far as working on it from June. And here it is February until we are actually going to vote on it. But the presentations were great. I went back through and went back through myself over since we met, 10 days ago or whenever it was, and looked at exactly what it was talking about. And to me, it made so much sense. And I think it will be very effective. Specifically, it's student-centered, which is what we are here for. Exactly student-centered. So I think I'm kind of excited to see as it goes into effect starting next year, school year, and how it will work and be effective for our students.
Yeah, thanks to all the people who worked on this. I can't imagine the amount of time you guys put into this. It's so comprehensive. It's very good. I got a question, and maybe Dr. Rose, you can answer. We're looking to increase all these things annually. Do you guys have like a goal number for all of those increases? Like our students, are you looking for a 10% where where the community's headed? Or on our national assessments, are we looking for a 1% or a 2% increases? Do you guys have a goal that is in mind, or is it just any increase is?
Yeah, I think that is a great question. So when it comes to our academic goals, we have district goals that are very much aligned to state assessments. And then at the building level, through our building site plans, we have those goals as well. And those are based on a certain percentage of increase. In terms of this plan, those objectives are just simply to increase.
Okay.
You know, and enrollment's always kind of a tough one. It's hard to put a number with enrollment. You know, we believe through economic development, everything, all the great things happening across our community, and of course, sustainable beef, we think we're gonna get that normal uptick, but we believe if those other things take care of themselves as well, we'll have more of our kids that are in this region come to North Platte Public Schools. That's part of our goal as well.
Absolutely.
The kids are already here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Sorry,
Oh.
go ahead.
I'm gonna just make a comment. I was not able to be here for the committee of the whole meeting. And so I didn't get to just mention what a tremendous pleasure it was, and how grateful I am to have been a part of this process. It was really neat to be able to see all of the people that were in the room from various positions within the school district. And the other thing that I think is really neat and exciting is that even though we haven't formally adopted this plan yet, there are little tricklings of things already starting to happen throughout the district, and especially in relation to our new mission. And I think, especially in the world that we live in today, that being able to share a piece of the canteen spirit and encourage those values within our students, I think it is, it's just a really exciting thing. So I can't wait to see what this does for our school district, and I'm excited that everyone is already excited about it. So I think if we didn't pass it tonight, they might hang us high. So I really look forward to seeing all of the great things that come from this new strategic plan.
Yeah, I will just add to that. The committee of the whole meeting, our last meeting that we had, for anybody who is just tuning in with us in this process now, I would really encourage them to go back and watch the video from that meeting, because it was a little long, and I appreciate the directors for hanging with us for that duration and having such a thorough presentation. But it really gives you a glimpse of very specific goals and very specific ways that we will work towards those goals as a district. And I just think that's really exciting to see. It was great work done on all of those. So for anybody who missed that, I would encourage you to go and listen to those presentations, because it was very eye-opening on the amount of very intentional work that went into this. And I think what is most exciting for me about this strategic plan, one, that everyone else is really excited about it, but two, I think it's a really perfect picture of how we have our different buildings and our different areas that everyone focuses on, but all of those jobs are so important working towards this collaborative goal and our mission statement. And it was really evident as we were talking through, in our couple of big planning days that we had for strategic planning, but even in the presentations by the directors, so many of those goals overlap. And there were a lot of people that were like, oh, well, you're working towards this, but we're working towards this, and we can collaborate on this. And so I just really want to drive home the message that this strategic plan is for everyone in our district, and everyone has a part in, once we adopt it, assuming we adopt it, has a part in seeing this come to fruition, from board members to parents to students to every single one of our staff members. And so that, to me, is what is really exciting, is everybody has a place in helping this become what our district is about. So. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right, Sheila, roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, our future board calendar, we do have Mugs in the Morning tomorrow. Mr. Thompson is trading for March and February with Mrs. Blasey since she is ill. So we have that covered and taken care of. The President's Retreat is coming up in Kearney with NASB, February 16th and 17th. I am not able to attend those dates. Joanne, are you considering attending? Okay. Okay. In March, claims audit will be myself and Justin. Mugs in the Morning will then be Mrs. Blasey. And then there are a couple of workshops coming up that I want to kind of keep on everyone's radar. And if there's something you are interested in attending, March is kind of the month of finance workshops with NASB. So there are several of them across the state. And then there is an amplified finance workshop in Kearney at the end of the month. I am considering attending that one. And I would encourage if there are other board members that are interested in learning a little bit more about finance before we head into all of our really fun spring and summer finance conversations. They are generally very informational. And then similarly, I think end of March as well, there's some open meetings law workshops throughout the state. Again, several different locations, and then some further workshops down the road.
I'm going to kind of pitch in on the finance workshop. Cindy and I were able to attend one by these presenters last year. And it was really, along with all of the education that Mr. Simpson provided us with TIOSA and different things with the school budget. It was very, very, helped me understand it a lot. It was very, very good. So.
Excellent. All right. There are no further questions or comments there. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned.
That's because we do all that. Yeah.